let's jump over to the Cowboys and Rams and talk about this game. Like I said, very exciting afternoon game slate here, and then we get a even better Sunday night game. This should be very interesting. Now, the last time we saw the Cowboys and Rams play, the Cowboys kind of came out flat, and I'm expecting them to be a little bit stronger in this one. Overall, highest over-under on the week. Definitely think this has the potential to be a very high point total game for fantasy as well. And hopefully the Cowboys aren't as flat as they were the last time we played the Rams. I think they'll be fine. So we got the Cowboys technically winning this one by 3 in terms of what Vegas is looking at, giving us an implied point total of 27 to 24, above 50 over-unders, pretty intense. Last year, both of these teams were pretty average overall. Cowboys were pretty decent against the receivers, but with the loss of Byron Jones, probably going to be a little bit weaker in that regard. Now, the one area to definitely watch in terms of offense and defense battles in this one, the Cowboys have one of the best defensive lines in the league, and the Rams have one of the worst offensive lines. So this could actually be a pretty brutal game for Jared Goff if he gets hit early. That kind of seems to be like the strategy, right? Like if you can get Jared Goff off of his game early, punch him in the mouth a little bit. That was kind of what Bill Belichick did in the Super Bowl back in 2018. So that would be my only concern, is that the Rams get off to a shaky start and then can't recuperate. But I think they run a lot more 12 personnel this year, keeping the 2 tight ends on the field to give Jared Goff a little bit more time. I think overall this would be a pretty high scoring game because the Cowboys defense outside of that defensive line is garbage. So we'll see what this turns into. But again, this is going to be a pretty easy situation for me. I'm starting all of the names that I drafted and expecting to be starters. Yes, Jalen Ramsey is going to be involved, as I was talking about a little bit earlier. I am probably a little bit more concerned about Gallup than I would be Cooper with Ramsey, because I think Cooper is going to play a lot in the slot, and Ramsey doesn't typically shadow people into the slot. So in the plays that Cooper is in the slot, Ramsey will probably move over to Gallup coming out of the X. But I think the plan is to keep Cooper and Lamb moving in and out of the slot throughout the entire game. So I think there will be enough targets going around for both Cooper and Gallup to still have a pretty good game. I'd be willing to start Jarwin in this one. Dak Prescott has historically targeted his tight end a good bit. With Jason Witten, I think like Jarwin could have a pretty decent game here, especially if the Cowboys have to put up 34 points to win, which is what I'm expecting to happen for them a lot, with the fact that their defense is going to give up a lot of points. The Cowboys are going to have to score a lot just to stay in games. Dak Prescott could arguably be the number 1 quarterback on the week, and you're starting all of the main starters here for the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, I guess you could throw him out there in a pinch if you need to, but rookie receivers we're expecting to at least take a couple weeks to get acclimated. Receivers are a little bit harder to jettison into an offense, unlike running backs. I don't think we're going to see massive breakout games from all the rookie receivers. Probably have 1 or 2 that have a pretty nice week 1. But CeeDee Lamb would be a guy I would at least wait a few weeks on and see what his usage looks like. Tony Pollard is pretty much a bench until Zeke gets hurt. Or, we'll see. If they end up trying to use Tony Pollard like the Browns used Kareem Hunt, it's a possibility that would lower Zeke's ceiling and bring Pollard into a flex consideration, but we don't know that. Everything has pretty much been radio silence on the part of the Cowboys throughout the offseason. We don't really know much of what's going on. They haven't really talked to us much, so this is pretty much flying blind here and just going off of our assumption of what this offense and defense will look like. But the basic premise here is start your studs. I got confidence in Jarwin, and that's that for the Cowboys. On the Rams side, same thing, right? We're going to start Goff because this should be a high-scoring shootout game. Goff, is either a really bad quarterback play or a top 12 guy, and I think this is a week where he'll be a top 12 guy. Probably got him pretty cheap, and he'll end up having he has a better matchup than guys like Stafford. He has a better matchup, and then a lot of quarterbacks are actually drafted above him. You could even make an argument starting Goff over Brady. I think Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are probably going to end up eating a lot in this one. Without Byron Jones there's not really a lot of cornerbacks to impose their will. We'll see how Diggs does for the Cowboys, but he's a rookie, so we're not expecting him to make a massive impact right away. And then I still have faith in Tyler Higbee. I like him better than Gerald Everett. And all reports out of camp are that Tyler Higbee is very centric in this offense. Like, they designed the offense to function around Tyler Higbee, and I think that he comes out and eats in this opening game. So I'm pretty much starting all of the main guys here with the exception of the running backs. Now, I'm concerned for the running backs in this game. For one, as we've mentioned already, that defensive front for the Cowboys is very strong, and the offensive line of the Rams is very weak. If this turns into a shootout pretty quickly, the Rams may have to abandon the run, as we saw a lot last year with Todd Gurley. There are plenty of games that Todd Gurley barely had any rushing yards because they had to abandon the run so quickly. And with the uncertain touch distribution between Cam Akers, Malcom Brown, and with Darrell Henderson potentially playing this week, it could be an ugly week one for the rookie. So of all the rookie running backs, I'm hesitant to throw Akers and Swift out there this week just because we're not really sure what that touch distribution is going to look like. So if you have a better option, pivot off of Akers this week. But if I had to choose one, I'd still go with upside of the rookie over Malcom Brown because, Malcom Brown is a jag. He'll probably end up getting a few touchdowns and annoying people this year, but he's not going to ever put up enough fantasy points that you're going to be upset that you didn't start him. And then I'm just avoiding both defenses in this game. Both of these defenses lost a lot of key pieces, and I'm expecting them to both not be very productive for fantasy purposes. Corey Littleton is gone. Byron Jones is gone. Not going to be a pretty sight for either of these defenses this week. So in terms of the spread, I think the Cowboys cover. I got the Cowboys winning this one 35-24, and I think this would be a score point that you're going to want to get used to with the Cowboys, assuming health. It's going to be a very robust season for Cowboys offense this year, and I think you're going to be happy that having Cowboys on your team. I think the Rams keep up for a while, but in the end they can't pull it out. So I got the Cowboys winning this one in the Rams opener in SoFi Stadium.